screen in the top upper left right-hand corner, you'll see a little icon that says View. Kind of looks like a waffle.
On the left, on the top left hand, it has Leave on the left.
On the upper right hand.
Okay, it says Mute, Stop Video, Share Content, Participant, and More. That's what it shows on mine.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Hello, testing. Zaragoza, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
So, Mia, what do we do on the view?
I'm going to ask everybody just to hold on for a minute and please mute your mics.
Okay.
Okay.
We can hear you, Mr. Zaragoza.
Okay, thank you.
So everybody, please mute your mics for a moment.
Good.
What's Brendan's extension? Do I have to push 7? Hi, it's Mia. Not yet. Okay, you're welcome. It's the first all Zoom meeting. Can you come down and help me because nobody knows how to use it, and then I had feedback. Okay, so we've called the meeting to order. I'm going to call the roll. Board Member Edmonds?
Yes, I am here.
Board Member Huber?
Here.
Board Member Lavere?
Here.
Board Member Long?
Yes.
Board Member Parks?
Here.
Board Member Pollock?
Present.
Board Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Board Member Rollins?
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza?
Here.
And Chair Blatz?
Sure.
Okay,
All right.
hold on for one moment, please.
Sorry, man.
Oh,
I am back. My apologies for the technical difficulties. Chair Blatz, would you like to continue with Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. If everyone would rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
Of the
United
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Why don't we have a display?
Thank you, everyone. All right, the first item, number 4, is going to be minutes from the prior meeting.
Move approval, Zaragoza.
Second. Okay, Zaragoza and Huber have moved. We could have a vote.
Board Member Edmonds?
Yes.
Board Member Huber?
Yes.
Board Member Lavere?
Yes.
Board Member Long? Board Member Long?
Yes.
Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Pollock?
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Board Member Rollins?
yes.
Board Member Zaragoza?
Yes.
And Chair Blatz?
Yes. Next will be a review of the agenda. Any changes or amendments to the agenda? If not, if I could get a vote, if I could get a motion.
Motion Long. I second Edmonds.
Okay, Long and Edmonds.
Board Member Edmonds?
Yes.
Board Member Huber?
Yes.
Board Member Lavere?
Yes.
Board Member Long?
Yes.
Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Pollock?
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Board Member Rollins?
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza?
Yes.
Chair Blatz?
Yes. All right, moving on to number 6. Are there any public comments? Not hearing that there are any public comments, I believe we'll move on to number 7, which would be board comments. Are there any comments from the board members? Not seeing anyone's hands or anything going up. Last call, so no comments from the board members. So then we'll move on to our esteemed director. Lockie, please go ahead.
Sure. Greetings, everyone, and good afternoon. I have the pleasure to address you from our new location. We finally have moved. Yay! So the move started yesterday, and it's going to go through tomorrow. But at least we are prepared enough to be able to conduct this meeting remotely from our new location. The last couple of months have been quite tumultuous for us. as we had a long laundry of issues, but we're dealing with our contractor. We have HVAC issues, and last but not least, we were dealing with the city trying to get our permit, our occupancy permit. And last Friday, tail end of last week, we managed to get our temporary occupancy permit, and here we are. The occupancy permit is 90-day long, so we are obligated to upgrade some of our ramps to ADA standards, and also we are going to be resurfacing our parking lot, which was part of the plan regardless. And in fact, we are going to be coming back to the board to appropriate some budget for those tasks. But everything is moving along just fine. So with respect to the recruitment efforts of ours, I'm pleased to report back to you that we promoted Mr. John Harriday to the engineering supervisor position. We have 2 vacancies at the permit engineering levels, and even though it was an open recruitment, we ended up promoting 2 internal candidates. And the recruitment effort to fill the monitoring manager position is underway. I just completed my interviews, and very soon I'll be ready to be making an announcement. Let's see. As always, on an annual basis, we get audited. We have our independent auditors, and right now, as we speak, we are undergoing our independent audit, and I'll let the board know about the results. And last but not least, I would like to report that was it 2 weeks ago that we had a workshop on Rule 71 and 71.3. We are amending these rules to tighten up our leak thresholds that are applicable to the storage tanks. And the workshop was participated by 22 individuals, and we'll be briefing the board on this, a little more on this in upcoming months. In fact, we are planning to bring this rule to the board in the May timeframe or thereabouts.
Later.
Okay. And this completes my comments, Chair.
Okay. Are there any questions for our air pollution control officer from any of the board members? Not seeing any. All right. Well, then we'll move on to number 9, which is part of the regular agenda, which is a receive and file the unscheduled vacancy notice of Andy Sobel, the City of Santa Paula representative of the Air Pollution Control District Advisory Committee. And Lockie, I assume we're turning this over to you.
Sure. So the mayor of City of Santa Paula is going to be appointing Council Member Leslie Cornejo to serve as the advisory committee on behalf of the city. Consequently, the current incumbent is submitting his resignation, and we still have to vote on this item.
Okay. So even though it's a receive and file, we need a vote on number 9 alone.
Chair, excuse me, I do have a question.
Okay. Supervisor.
In the past, when there's a vacancy on the APCD from a city council member, it usually is chosen by the city selection committee. I just want to make sure we're following the right procedure. So, Doctor, can you just assure us that this doesn't have to go back to city selection?
I don't believe so. Last time I checked those guidelines, it was the city that was selecting its own representative, but I'm going to double check now that you're bringing it to my attention.
Well, I think I certainly would have moved to approve, but just in case there's an issue, I don't know if somebody else has more information, but I know that's how I got on APCD, years ago. And I think that's how Mayor Zaragoza's on right now. Right. But this may be different because there's a vacancy from the actual person selected by the that committee.
You're bringing up a very good point. With respect to the membership to our governing board, for sure, it's the city committee that has the exclusive authority to make those appointments. So you're right on target with that comment. With respect to the advisory committee, which is a board subcommittee or an ad hoc committee established by the board, the rules are a little bit different. And it gives each city the ability to appoint one member, and each county supervisor has the authority to appoint two individuals. And in fact, some of you who have vacancies, you should have received my correspondence or email to that effect perhaps 2-3 weeks ago. And I'll make sure that I reach out again to remind you. So there's some difference between the governing board and the advisory committee.
Mr. Chair, Zaragoza.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we did, for the advisory committee, we did recommend a city representative. If I can barely hear the doctor, but if that's what you're talking about, we did submit a nominee from Oxnard.
Yes, you did, Mayor Zaragoza, and that nomination will come before the board in April.
I didn't get that. You can also
That's
try
right.
spelling it.
Thank you.
This is Long. I would motion to receive and file this vacancy notice.
Second, Huber.
I had a,
Hold on 1 second. Mr. Rollins has a question. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me.
so is the advisory board similar to then city where like each councilman appoints a person to be on, say, the planning commission or whatever? Is that the same thing with this advisory board? Because I never knew that like our city could appoint somebody to be on the advisory board. I know the council appoints me to be on the board, but as far as the advisory board, then do we in turn in something for people to be on that advisory board? That I'm not sure about.
So each member does get appointed for a certain period of time, and they serve up until that expires. And when that term expires, then automatically I'll let you know, or the respective city, I'll let them know to either reappoint the same person or appoint somebody different. In this particular case, with the city of Santa Paula, they opted to appoint an alternate person.
So again, I guess I'm a little unclear. So then do I appoint somebody to be on the advisory board for Port Hueneme?
I'll have to check my logs.
Or is somebody that's already on the city of Port Hueneme that I don't know about on that advisory board?
We'll check whether the city of Port Hueneme has a vacancy or not, and I'll let you know. And if you do have a vacancy, yes, we are going to ask you to appoint someone. Typically, I'll send a letter to your mayor and to your city manager, and then they coordinate with the rest of the city council.
Mr. Chairman.
I think what would be best is maybe at our next meeting, we just have a very quick and simple review of what those rules are to clarify for everyone. If that's not too much work, maybe we can just come back and say, here's how it works and here's what's available, and make sure everybody's got their houses in order, and we can all go back to our cities and make sure our city managers and mayors are taking care of it.
Yeah,
we have a
Chair Black,
yes.
This is Jacqueline Smith, Assistant County Counsel, and I apologize to interrupt. I just wanted to chime in quickly on what the rule is and to let everyone know that it is appropriate for the board to appoint a member on behalf of the city of Santa Paula today. So the APCD board's rules provide that each member of the Board of Supervisors may nominate 2 individuals to the advisory committee, and each city may nominate 1 person to the committee. and nominations shall be made by the board for approval. So each city, when there is an opening, can nominate one person to the advisory committee. And so Santa Paula is making its nomination to your board, and it's to your board to approve that nomination. So there's nothing additional that the city needs to do to make that nomination, so long as they're only nominating one person.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Are there any other questions for Jacqueline while she's answering?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
Jacqueline is right. We had a vacancy here in Oxnard, and that's how we nominated a person from Oxnard, just for information too. And that's the doctor sent me an email regarding the vacancy. So that's how we nominated a person to the APCD. Thank you.
With that, we are still in need of a second to the motion.
So moved.
All right, Mr. Zaragoza is a second. I think we get a vote. And again, this is to receive and file the unscheduled vacancy notice of Andy Sobel from the city of Santa Paula for the advisory committee.
So the recommend.
Roll call on the vote, please. It was Supervisor Long who was the first on that motion.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Motion failed.
No.
Correct.
Okay. Are we ready? Sorry about that.
Wrong key.
Board Member Edmonds,
Yes.
Board Member Huber,
Yes.
Board Member Lavere,
Yes.
Board Member Long,
Yes.
Board Member Parks,
Yes.
Board Member Pollock,
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez,
Yes.
Board Member Rollins,
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza,
Yes.
Chair Blatz.
Yes. All right, moving on to item number 10. This is the approval of the appointment of Leslie Cornejo to the Air Pollution Control District Advisory Committee as the representative for the city of Santa Paula for a term that would end on March 9th, 2025.
Long will approve.
Second.
Yeah, I think that was Long and Parks.
Correct.
Correctly. Thank you. All right, if we can have a vote.
Board Member Edmonds,
Yes.
Board Member Huber,
Yes.
Board Member Lavere,
Yes.
Board Member Long,
Yes.
Board Member Parks,
Yes.
Board Member Pollock,
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez,
Yes.
Board Member Rollins,
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza,
Yes.
Chair Blatz.
Yes. All right, moving on to item 11. Receive and file the California Air Resources Board's final technical systems audit report for the Ventura County Air Pollution Control District's ambient air monitoring program. And Lockie, I assume you have a comment on this?
Yes. So from time to time, we do our air monitoring system network, I should say, does get audited alongside with other districts from the Air Resources Board and EPA. These are extremely detailed, highly technical, and very comprehensive audits. And normally, we end up with a long list of findings that we have to correct. I'm very happy and proud to report that we got a very good audit report from the Air Resources Board. They came up with just one finding that we have already taken care of, and we've already implemented the solution of that before even the ink was dry. But I want to draw your attention to one of the statements that the Air Resources Board staff made in their report that makes us basically being with pride. And it says, I quote, in the last 12 CAR performed technical system audits on different district networks, there has been about an average of 12 findings for each. And they continue to say the district now holds the record for the fewest findings for a TSA. This fact demonstrated the dedication to excellence that both management and staff maintain in the performance of their duties. So naturally, it makes me very proud about my team. And I wanted to share these good news with you because I'm sure you'll be just as proud with your district. And that's all the comments that I think to make.
Yes, Ms. Edmonds, you had a question.
Actually, this is a comment. Many years ago, I was an auditor and a compliance officer for the state of California's Department of Education. And I went all over the state reviewing schools. And in all my time, I did, I think, 6 years. And in all my time, I never saw exceeds requirements implementing all or using such large words, complete. And so I would suggest that because it's called the State and Legal Air Monitoring Status, and it's called SLAMS, that we have a dedicated, utterly no-nonsense, knowledgeable staff. So we should call it a slam dunk. That's all.
All right, I'm not going to look for a motion to change the name of a slam dunk, but we're just going to, I think, accept that on its face with just one, with just that comment. But I do, I thank you, Lockie. Thank you, all the staff, and thank you for the staff that's continued from the prior staff. For I know this is not something that just happened. This is a lot of years of work, and it shows the quality of some of the work that's being done. So thank you. With that, are there any other questions? Not seeing any.
No question, Chair Platts. I just want to congratulate Dr. Tosopoulos and the entire team. I mean, that glowing review was just really well deserved, and it's always good to sitting as a governing body to see that kind of professional work from staff. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're all on organizations that get audited. There's rarely reports that come back quite as positive. So that's all good news. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, Pollock.
Second, Ramirez.
Okay, Pollock and Ramirez. We can have a vote.
Board Member Edmonds? Board Member Edmonds? You're on mute.
There we go.
Enthusiastic, yes.
Thank you. Board Member Huber?
Yes.
Board Member LeVere?
Yes.
Board Member Long?
Yes.
Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Pollock?
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Board Member Rollins?
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza?
Yes.
Chair Blatz?
Yes. All right, moving on to number 12. So receive and file a status report on the Ventura County Air Quality Incentive Programs. Lockie, if you would.
Sure. So Chair Blatz and members of the board, as you know, the incentive programs are very important, critical components of our attendance strategy and extremely popular with our stakeholders. In light of the fact that we have new additions to our board, we thought it would be a good idea if we can take a few moments and brief you about what has transpired over the last year. And we'll open the forum to any questions that you may have afterwards. And Mr. Ali Gassami, the manager of the program, is going to be doing the honors with the presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Blatz. Can you hear me from here? Can everybody hear me? Or shall I speak louder?
Yes, hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chair Blatz, member of the board, Ali Gassami, Planning, Engineering, Rule Development and Incentive Program Manager. Today, can I have slide number 2, please?
Maybe I can.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Today, I will provide you with the summary of our incentive programs. I'm going to go tell you about the funding, amount of funding, dollar amount that is going through each program, and the distribution to the small sources, low income, and disadvantaged communities. I will go over emission reduction benefits that has been achieved through Ventura County and what are the projects, talk about what are the projects that eligible for these incentive programs. And then I'm going to talk about the outreach procedure that we have in place. And lastly, I'm going to tell you how to apply, how people they can apply, and where they can get additional information if they need to. Next, please. Okay, our incentive programs are includes the following: Call Moyer program. This is a program that it has been going on for a long time, and it provides funding to cleaner than required engine and equipment that they're in many categories. The next one is Farmer program. This is a program that was established in 2018, and it only funds agricultural equipment replacement. Then we have a community air protection program. This program was established in 2018 as well. It is following all of the, actually cover all of the categories or equipment that is eligible for Call Moyer's program, but it is required or focused on disadvantaged and low income communities. Next, please. Then we have electrical vehicle charging program and Cal EVIP program. This is funding the electric charging stations for publicly used facilities, and we provide this funding is for installation of those EV charging station. And Cal EVIP is actually it stands for California Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Projects. These are covered the projects that is in South Central Coast, and it covers Ventura County, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo. I'm not going to provide detailed information about this because Danny will provide you with the detail regarding this program next. However, one thing that I would like to point out is we are committed, district is committed to allocate $1.5 million for the next 3 years for this as part of this program. The total funding for this program is about $6 million. Then the next one is lower emission school bus program. This program currently just fund the replacement of CNG tanks on the diesel school buses, on the CNG buses. Then we have Clean Air Fund program or CAF program. We have about $25,000 per year that we are allocating to the concept projects. And this usually, it could be EV charging station, it could be lawnmower that like we did last year, replacement to electrical. Then we have old car back program called old car buyback program that we pay about $1,000 per vehicle if the person retired in 1977 or older of cars like the trucks and the vans. And then we have a protecting blue wells and blue skies program. This is actually a vessel speed reduction program. It started in 2014, and it is some kind of a voluntary program. It provides incentive, monetary incentive to container ships and auto carrier ships that they are doing most likely about 1,000 transit throughout all of Port of Los Angeles, Long Beach, Port of Miami, and Bay Area. It requires that these vessels reduce their speed, that usually it is about 15 to 18 knots to bring it to less than 10 knots or less. So, and it is something that it reduces a lot of emissions in our area. Then next, please. The next one is, this slide gives you some kind of a amount of funding that we provide in 2020 and its distribution. I'm going to get closer. I cannot see from here. I'm so sorry. Okay, in 2020, we had about 5.4 million that we provided as an incentive to these different type of programs. Like, for example, agricultural replacement, which was through farming program, we include actually 3.7 million fund. And then for school bus, we spent about $800,000. For EV charging station, we had about 200,000. And for marine vessels, marine replacement engines, it was about 700,000. And then the distribution was, okay, for some of these programs like Carl Moyer program, we have about, we have to have a matching fund. Like we provide up to 15 to 18% funding on top of that, and also facilities. We usually fund about 80% of the total of equipment cost. So the total investment on all of these projects was about 8.8 million. But how it was distributed, we distributed about 37%. It went to disadvantaged communities and low-income communities. About to 18%, it went to the low-income communities, and about 45% in other areas. Next, please. Then we had how much emission reduction we had in 2020 from these projects. We had about 15. I think we have about 52 tons per year of the ozone, and we have about 3 tons of diesel particulate matter and 364 metric tons of greenhouse gas, CO2 equivalent. Now, in the bottom portion, it has other programs that we have I went through it, like old carback, and we have about 1 tons per year of emission reduction through this program. Under clean air fuel program, we have about, we spent $30,000 and we spend it on fund 2 EV charging station. We had 22 diesel powered landscaping tools and 1 riding mower with electric version. We replaced them. For school bus program, we funded about $40,000 on CNG tank replacement. And BSR, we spent about $200,000 in 2020, and the 16 shipping company actually registered, and preliminary results shows that the NOx emission has been reduced over 400 tons during 2020. Next, please. These are the type of, we just put few type of a project that they are eligible for this program. As you see, the top row, these are the old ones. And then in the bottom, I put some of the pictures of the new equipment that we provided. These are agricultural equipment, forklift, construction equipment, diesel pump, that it was actually changed to the electric pump. And then the engine is the old engine for marine vessels, and then the new one that is in the bottom row. Next, please. We have EV charging station. We have forklift that it was changed with new. And then this is the bus that we actually did goes to the electric bus. One of the diesel school buses that we provided to, that they switched and replaced it with the school bus. And usually if they go for the school buses, sometimes we go to 100% of the cost. We fund 100% of the amount of the bus. Next, please. What are the outreach? Then we have a website that we are updating. We have also a large, actually list of the parties that they are interested, and then we provide emails and we are sending them notices. We have a good partnership with the local equipment dealership, and we have a good, actually coordinate with the agricultural commissioner's office. We also participate in their advisory committee meetings, and we have other web program and web the meetings that we participate, and we provide information to the public. Next, please. How to apply? This is something that we usually, for the pass-through program, which are considered Carl Moyer, CAP, and the Farmers Program, usually it opens the late March, and we have it for 70 days, 75 days. We open it for that time frame and facility. They can actually provide, fill out their application and send it through. There is a procedure that we have to go through. We get a lot of projects. Unfortunately, we have to do some kind of a procedure which is established by the state, and we go through that, and there is a cost effectiveness that comes to play, and we prioritize the projects and we start funding them. All of the information is available on our website, and they can be available to everybody who wants to. Next, please. These are our contact information in case if anybody has any questions, they can contact us through phone, through email, and we will be providing, we will get back to them and provide information as needed. Next, please. This is a list of all of the available links that if anybody needs any information about any of these programs, these are available, or additional information available on this link. That actually, I finished my presentation. I'm ready to take your question.
Thank you, Ali. Are there any questions as I move back to being able to see everybody a little clearer here? Not seeing anything. I will say it's important that everybody recognize that the grant period is coming up. Before our next meeting, the end of March will have occurred. So I'm, especially to the city council members, it's important to try and disseminate some of this information. Now that I've been on the board for a while, I talk to a lot of people who just don't know all these grants exist. So we want to get as many people out there applying for them. So we're making sure they're getting to the right people. I'd also ask if it's okay, Ali, if you would share, if you'd maybe send the PowerPoint out with all those great contacts and everything else out to all the board members at the close of the meeting. I think it's something everybody would like. And I know I'm going to try and set up a short presentation to our council and probably go through this same PowerPoint if it's available, just to let everybody quickly know there's easy ways to contact everyone. And this is where the rubber meets the road on dealing with greenhouse gas and climate change, is getting these grant monies into the right people. So much appreciated.
No
Are there any comments, questions? No? All right, then if we could have a vote. Oh, excuse me, we have a motion first.
So moved.
Second. All right, Zaragoza, I think that was Huber on the second.
Yes.
Thank you.
Board Member Edmonds?
Yes.
Board Member Huber?
Yes.
Board Member LeVere?
Yes.
Board Member Long?
Yeah.
Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Pollock?
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Board Member Rollins?
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza?
Yes.
Chair Blatz?
Yes. All right, moving on to item 13, receive and file a status report regarding the California Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Project for the South Central Coast Incentive Project.
A quick comment. As you have noticed from the prior presentation, we spent and invest a lot of time and effort and resources in expanding the electric vehicle charging infrastructure here in our county. And just a little while ago, we scored a big victory where we managed to leverage some of our own DND money and some of our partners' monies with some dollars, some grants that we received from CEC. And we are going to be investing a significant amount of money on these electric vehicle charging infrastructures. So we want to take a few moments and bring you up to speed with what has transpired. And Danny McWilliam is going to be doing the honors with that. Danny?
So can all of you hear me just fine?
Yes.
They seem to hear me. Good afternoon, Chair Blatz, members of the board. My name is Danny McQuillan. I'm an air quality engineer with rules development and incentive programs here at the district. I'm here to, like Lafayette was saying, provide some updates about the California Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Project. Early in 2019, the collaboration began with a number of partners, including Ventura County Air Pollution Control District, our sister agency, Ventura Regional Energy Alliance, and the local Clean Choice Aggregate, which is Clean Power Alliance, among other partners in Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo County. Earlier this year, late last year, we were awarded a project for our region, which brought significant match funding from CEC investment. So if you could please move it on to the next slide.
Next slide, please.
Thank you. So Ventura County APCD, as Ali and Laki had mentioned, we are committing $1.5 million over the next 3 years. Clean Power Alliance is committing $1.6 million, and the California Energy Commission has decided to match our funding levels with $2.6 million to bring the total to our county of $5.7 million just for electric vehicle infrastructure programs. Now, these funds will cover 20 DC fast charging stations at approximately $30,000 to $80,000 per connector, and over 1,100 level 2 charging stations. And the appeal of the California Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Project is that it's a streamlined process to make it as easy as possible for applicants to apply for funds to encourage the installation of this infrastructure to help meet the state's electric vehicle targets moving forward. And these funding levels range depending upon whether or not they're being installed in disadvantaged communities, low-income communities, and there's also a significant bonus for the installation of level 2 charging stations at multiple unit dwelling structures, apartment complexes, things like that. So at this point in time, we are waiting for additional details to be released. It's actually likely to be later this week that the Center for Sustainable Energy is going to be providing an update as far as when the exact date of implementation, but it's anticipated to be the third quarter of 2021 that this will be available for residents and businesses in Ventura County. So that's the end of my presentation at this point in time. Was there anything that you wanted to add, Laki?
No, I was going to say, it's suffice to say we are extremely excited, ecstatic, in fact, about the prospects of this program. When you look at the numbers, when we talk about 20 DC fast chargers and close to 1,200 level 2 charging stations just in our county alone, I mean, it's going to be a game changer, which will be added on what we have already installed. So we are extremely ecstatic and excited about this. And also keep in mind with the initiatives that came out of the governor's office, as we try to wean ourselves out of the fossil fuel vehicles by 2030, 2035 timeframe, based on the most recent budget estimate, they are going to dedicate another close to $1.5 billion on the EV charging infrastructure alone. So what we have before us right now is going to be a pretty good down payment to the effort that is bound to continue improving. So I think things are looking pretty good as far as electric vehicle infrastructure is concerned, and making it a lot more conducive all the way out from our southern border, all the way out to Washington and beyond.
Supervisor Ramirez.
Thank you. This is fantastic. We really need it. We really need to get this going so we can do what's coming at us, and that is provide for the electric vehicles. I have a hybrid and looking to get fully electric, and of course we need to be able to get where we're going. We need ability to charge. I recently received a communication from one of my constituents here in Oxnard, and he sent this also to Supervisor Long because it was regarding a charging station at the Fillmore's County Fire Station that had been installed a year ago, but was not really functioning. And I'm wondering if you have any information about that. I understand from Supervisor Long's staff that it's about to go live, but it hadn't. And that, to me, I was just like, I wonder how many charging stations do we have in the county that are available to the public? And will any of this be available to multi-unit housing units like apartments and complexes where people may not be able to have their own garage to charge their vehicle in.
Yeah, so I can address this. The purpose of Cal EVIP when it comes to the level two chargers is to allow the installation of these for personal use, but not single family homes. They're trying to really encourage the multiple unit dwellings. They're really trying to encourage workplace charging. So the level two chargers do not need to be publicly accessible, but there are a few criteria that they do have to meet. The DC fast chargers must be publicly available 24/7.
Great. Do you have any information about that charger at the Fillmore County Fire Station?
Not on our fingertips, but we should probably be able to reach out and extract some information, and we can share the results with you, Supervisor.
I'll send to you the communication. Actually came from Mr. Minjares of Kelly Long's office when my constituent inquired. I'll send it all to you. You take a look. Thank you. Great news.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions?
I just want to add to what Danny provided. Up to now, any EV charging station that we funded, it had to be usable by public. So it was publicly usable condition was there.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? All right, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it, Edmonds.
And Edmund second.
Board Member Edmonds?
Yes.
Board Member Huber?
Yes.
Board Member LeVere?
Yes.
Board Member Long?
Yes.
Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Pollock?
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Board Member Rollins?
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza?
Yes.
And Chair Blatz?
Yes. All right. Moving on to number 14 under the correspondence agenda, receive and file correspondence from Dr. Tezopoulos for Ventura County Air Pollution Control Officer from the officer to the state of California Governor Newsom, State Senator Tony Atkins, and State Assembly Member Anthony Rendon, supporting the 21-22 proposed state budget and cap and trade expenditure plan.
Yes, very briefly, Chair Blatz and members of the board, the state, the governor's office came up with the draft budget a few weeks ago towards the tail end of January. And our expectation was, because of the impact of COVID-19 in our economy, for some of our programs to severely curtail that were relying on pass-through state funding. And to our surprise, actually the draft budget came out a lot better than we anticipated. And most of our programs, funding for our programs remain intact, such as the Cowboy program, which is about to expire, and there are efforts to renew that program. The farmer program that Mr. Gassani was talking about, where we are helping our agricultural community, the community air protection program, the wildfire assistance program. So we felt compelled, put in a comment letter to basically encourage and thank the governor and urge the state senate, the president of the state senate, and the speaker of the assembly to move forward with this budget proposal. And we copied, of course, the budget subcommittee for both the Senate as well as the Assembly. And of course, we copied our very own Steve Bennett, and Monique Limon, so that they are on board, or at least they are aware of where the APCD is coming from.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? And do we need, I know nowadays on Zoom, we got to vote on everything. So I'm assuming we need a motion on this as well.
Even though it's every single file item.
I so moved. This is Edmonds.
All right, I will second it. And if we need a vote, then let's vote. If we don't, then I always assume we do nowadays, so might as well.
Okay. Board Member Edmonds?
Yes.
Board Member Huber?
Yes.
Board Member LeVere?
Yes.
Board Member Long?
Yes.
Board Member Parks?
Yes.
Board Member Pollock?
Yes.
Board Member Ramirez?
Yes.
Board Member Rollins?
Yes.
Board Member Zaragoza?
Yes.
Chair Blatz?
Yes. All right, that's everything on the agenda. Is there anything else from anyone before we adjourn the meeting?
Good running of the meeting.
Thanks. Doctor, when do we have the next, not advisory committee, but the, whatever.
Did you mean the standing committee?
Standing committee, thank you. Yes, I don't think we have a meeting today, but I didn't know if we should anticipate needing to have one soon and maybe let the standing committee members know.
Sure. Thank you, Chair Blatz, and thank you for pointing that out to me. Very likely, very high probability, we are going to have a standing committee meeting in April because it's our pre-budget season. And if everything works according to plan, we would like to bring the draft budget proposal to the committee in April. And that goes first to the standing committee before it goes to the full board.
Okay.
So expect the standing committee, I guess.
All right, we'll expect one at the next meeting. We'll wait for notice on that, and we'll get that out to everybody once it is locked in. Other than that, not hearing anything else, then it sounds like our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Good seeing you.